Welcome to my channel Tech Tutorial 2K21, and today we are going to learn nested classes in C++ programming. So we'll start with the definition of a nested class and why we are using nested classes concept in C++. We'll see the implementation part of nested classes. So in C++, it is also possible to define one class within another class, and that concept is said to be a nested class in C++ programming. So see here, a class inside a class is called a nested class, and nested classes are declared inside another enclosing class. So I already mentioned you can define one class into another class, like we have a class 1. So in this class 1, again you have to define another class which is your class 2. So now this concept in C++ is said to be a nested class concept. So the second thing we'll say, like, nested classes are declared inside another enclosing class. So this is enclosing of a class 1. So in this enclosing we are defining another class that is said to be a nested class. And nested class is a member of a class and it follows the same access rights that are followed by different members of a class. So we know, like, class consisting different data members and member functions. Like we can say we are defining this class inside of another class. Now this is also a member to this particular class. So now the access rights and everything is same as the class definition. And the members of an enclosing class have no other special access to our members of nested class, and a normal access rule shall be carried out. So whatever the rules we have for the class definition for accessing the data members and member functions, we can have the same for the inner class also. So if nested class is declared after a public access specifier inside the enclosing class, then you must add a scope resolution during the creation its object inside a main function. So now you can create object for this inner class as like the outer class in your main function. So if you want to define, then you can use a scope resolution operator in main function to create an object for inner class. So this is about a nested class. We'll see how we are going to implement, and before that we'll see why it is required in programming language. So now you can consider any application. For example, if you're going to fill one application for applying a specific course. So now you can identify that that application form will consisting different fields like your name, address, phone number and everything. So we can define sometimes a same um, attribute with a multiple values. So suppose, for example, if you consider your name, in some application it is going to ask like first name, middle name and last name. So we cannot define these three parts of the name with a single variable name. And sometimes we are focusing on address. So now your address field will consisting different parts like door number, street, then city, state, pin code and everything. So we cannot define multiple values with a single variable or a single data member. So in that we are going to implement this nesting of classes which will give you the access of this multiple values. So here is an example that illustrating the nested class. Now you can see. So here it is my class and my class name is student. And now you can say this is my outside class and this is my class 1. We can simply say this is my outside class, and now this class will consisting two data members, that is roll number and the name of the student. And I am declaring these two in private section. So when I am declaring my data members, inside a private section, I cannot access these two data members outside of my class. So now you can see this is a nested class concept. So because of that, I am declaring one more class address inside of my class student. Now you can say this is inner class, or else inside a class. So again, this class will consisting, these are the data members like house number, street, city, state and pin code. And these everything is defined in a private section. So now I have a member function, that is set address. By using the set address member function, I am going to assign value to my house number, street, city, state and pin code. So this is my function, and this is a definition of my function, and this function takes five arguments. One is house number and the street, city, state and pin code. So these are five arguments I'm passing to this function set address, and here I'm using character pointers because I need to pass values to my character arrays. So here I'm using like this. Now you can see within my function, I'm going to assign the value of H to house number, and the value of S I'm going to assign to my street variable. So now here I'm using string copy of street comma S. So now it is going to copy the character by character which I'm taken through my keyboard, and that is going to copy into my data member street. In a same way, I'm going to copy the content of C into city and ST into state and pin code P value into pin code. And this is the second member function, that is show address. By this, I'm going to display my house number, state, city, pin code and my state. So now you can see here, this is the closing of my inner class. So here my inner class is closed, and now I'm going to create an object for my inner class address. So here ADD is an object which I am created for my class address. And after that, now coming to this is my outer class member function. Now you can see here I declared my variables, and here I am declaring my member function. So here I am using my member function set roll number. I am going to assign roll number to a variable roll underscore number, and set name I am going to assign the name of the student here. And here I am using set address, and here I'm using a set address member function, and here just I'm calling this particular member function which I defined in my inner class. And here I already created my object for my inner class, so I'm calling add dot set address of h comma s comma c comma st comma p. So now it is going to call this particular set address function into the outer class. And then I have the second method like show student data method. So in this method, I am going to display the name and roll number of my outer class data members. And then I am simply calling my function show address, which is continue to display the house number, street, city, state and pin code. And here you can observe that here I am calling my show address method by simply my object add. So add dot show address will call the show address method of the inner class address. Now here my outer class definition is closed. And in my main function, I'm creating object for my student class and my object is S1. And by using this object, I'm going to call my methods. That is set roll number method. And here I'm passing value 506 and this value is going to assign as a student roll number. And here I'm passing the name Shruti and this is going to assign to my student name. And for set address, it is expecting 5 different values, that is house number, street, city, state and pin code. And here I'm calling S1 dot show student data and it is going to call this particular method. So in this method, I'm going to display the name, roll number and inside I'm calling one more method, that is show address. Now it is going to call this particular method and by this it is going to display the house number, street, city, pin code and state also. So this is the way how you're going to implement a nested classes in C++ programming. Suppose if you want to create the object for inner class in your main function itself, simply you can mention like this. So you can mention your outer class name, that is student, and then you can use your scope resolution operator and the inner class name is address and you can give address. And here you have to create your object for this address class. So here I'm creating and the same object I'm created here. So like this. So you have to specify the address class is belongs to a class student and the compiler is going to create an object add to this address class. I hope you all can understand. Thank you.